My name is Judd.
My name is Rich.
And this is a comic strip AP of Burning Wheel featuring the saga of Locien Wester. And when we last saw Locien, he had just entered Greyhawk, the free city of Greyhawk. And only total tourists call it Greyhawk. Like it's like calling New York City NYC. You don't do it. Don't do it. Locals call it the free city of Greyhawk, even though it's a mouthful. He met up with Jalarzi. There were other details, but let's get to the main ones. He met up with Jalarzi. There's some feuding going on among the Council of Eight and the mages within it. And as Jalarzi was sitting down to tea with him to talk about the tensions among the wizards of the free city of Greyhawk, a fireball seed started arcing its way through the air towards their table. And that is where we ended the game.
Yes, indeed, we did.
Here's the question. You know that Jalarzi has some kind of ward against magic up. You noticed it first thing when you saw her.
Mm-hmm.
Her armed guards and your archers are all around you. They're at the exits and the entrances of this area. But they definitely weren't ready as you were ready. You had 2 successes on a perception roll. You kind of saw this coming. So my question is, what do you do?
Do I have an option to dispel it, or is it merely get the hell out of the way?
You can dispel it. Looking at the War Wizard School, it's not an easy thing for you to do. And perhaps there's a different way for you to do it. I'm not exactly sure. But hindering is like 4th down on your ranking list.
Yes, true.
And so it's just not something that comes really easily to the War Wizard School effects.
Then I'm grabbing a table and trying to throw it up like a large shield.
Got it.
And calling, beware! An attack!
So you're not diving under the table, you're throwing the table at the seed.
Correct.
Awesome.
I need to be standing in case I need to run.
Let's make an agility roll.
Very well.
And I think the obstacle is 2.
All right, I have a black 5.
Yes.
And that is 2 successes. I have met the ob.
Awesome. You throw the table up at the fire seed. It hits it mid-arc. The fireball explodes in the air, and the cloth ceiling over the bazaar tea house where you were catches fire. Screaming breaks out. You can see some kind of wizard in a kind of reddish, dark red, almost black cloak, tearing out. A city guard gets in his way, and through the smoke and the haze, you see the mage who threw that fireball put his fist through the city guard's helm and face and just break his skull like a piece of crepe paper. Jalarzi is shouting orders to her guards and is definitely preparing to cast a spell, but she's not doing it yet. What are you doing?
Is there a clear line of sight between me and this wizard?
Absolutely.
Do I know who this is? Is this a member of the council?
He doesn't appear to be. They're all really famous. I think you would recognize them. But you haven't gotten a good look at his face.
Well, I'm going to get a good look, because I am headed straight for him, and I am going to be summoning a sorcerous weapon.
Cool. So you are doing one of the things that War Wizardry is good at. You're calling forth a sorcerous weapon?
Yes.
Awesome. What does your weapon look like?
My weapon looks not unlike the sword that I carry, and I am best skilled with a sword, but it is longer, of course, because made of fire, I can have a longer reach.
So with an Ob 1 sorcery test, the wizard may conjure to his hand an eldritch but run-of-the-mill spear, sword, mace that's ringed in arcane fire. To make the weapon superior quality, you can increase the obstacle by +2, so that would make it a +3. So do you want it to be like a run-of-the-mill weapon, or do you want it to be kind of a superior, perfectly balanced weapon?
A superior, perfectly balanced weapon will do me well, thank you.
Awesome. So it's an obstacle 3. You will roll your sorcery dice. So that's how many dice? I believe it's 6.
Yes, I have a black 6 in sorcery.
Roll 6 dice. Keep your 6s, because they explode, because this is sorcery.
I have hit 3 successes.
Now, if you want to roll one more die, you can name this spell.
Yes, I call this my Fiery Phoenix Sword. black is success on 5 and 6, correct?
4, 5, and 6 is success, yeah.
Yes, then I have a 4th success because I rolled a 4.
Cool. That doesn't do anything in this case, but in other magic spells it will, so it's a good thing to keep in hand. What does it look like? Describe it for me.
Ah, yes. The cross guards of the sword come up like a pair of phoenix wings, and though it looks as if it would burn my hand, it does not. And then there are a pair of what look like the phoenix's claws that come to the pommel. The sword itself is very long. It should take 2 hands to wield, but because it is magical, it does not. It is as long as a bastard sword.
Nice.
And the very tip of it is shaped like the mouth of the phoenix itself.
Yeah. And, is it on fire? Does it just look like normal fire?
Definitely on fire. It is on very dangerous fire. Yes, it is entirely possible that if I were to walk under the banner that is not already on fire, I would have set it on fire myself.
Fantastic. You're running after this guy.
Yes.
Make a speed check.
Very well. I have a black 4. I have 1 success.
He got 3 successes.
Huh.
Yeah. You run through the crowd trying to find him. You see him go down an alley, and you take off after him. You kind of catch a glimmer of him way up ahead. I picture the free city of Greyhawk having grown very organically, which means that the alleyways are a little bit close together. It's not a grid in any sense of the word, and it is a big chaotic city. And you've just sprinted into it, never having been in it for all of 10, 20 minutes. You catch a glimmer of him way up ahead, duck into a building. Do you want to keep up? Want to keep following him?
That seems unwise. I do have the ability to gain advantage, do I not? That's one of my...
Yes.
I'd like to grant myself some speed, if I could.
Fantastic.
Perhaps I can catch up to him more quickly.
Awesome.
To do that, I need to roll sorcery again?
Yes.
Now, do I set the casting obstacle before to see if I get an advantage effect? Or do I...
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do. We're going to set the whole spell up, and then we're going to figure out the obstacle before we roll. Absolutely. So do you want to give yourself a plus 1d, a plus 2d,
plus
or a plus
2d,
3?
Thank you. That'll be an
Okay,
ob 3, so plus 2d. Here we go.
So that's ob 3, and it's only for 1 roll. Hold on. So that's plus 3 to the overall roll, right?
Oh.
It's only on yourself, so that doesn't do anything. Do you want this to be for 1 test, which would be your next test, which would add nothing to the modifier, or do you want this speed advantage to help you for the rest of this conflict, which would be like the rest of the chase and then the ensuing fight? And that's a plus 1 ob.
Yes, the entire fight.
Okay, it's the conflict.
What is my ob then? 4?
So it's it's obstacle 4. It's a total of obstacle 4.
Here we go.
And do you want to name it to get an extra die?
Oh, Locien's Burst of Speed.
Locien's Burst of Speed.
In Greyhawk, they often name them spells after themselves. I thought I would take this opportunity.
Sounds awesome. I don't think anything can really come of extra successes out of this one.
All right. No problem.
No, I think we set it and then we go. Let's roll another speed test. This is basically like a best of 3 because this is a speed test that is going on for a bit. He's 1 up, but we're rolling again. So you're going to add 2 magical dice to your normal roll.
Very well.
And I'm rolling 2.
3 successes.
Awesome. He also got 3 successes. He runs through this building. It wasn't home. He was just running through to try to lose you. And you hear him, eyes his balls, when he sees you burst through with a fiery sword.
Nice.
You see in his eyes, he considers stopping and just taking it to you, but when he sees that you have a phoenix fiery sword in your hand, he turns and runs. But he still has a good lead on you.
Yes,
Let's roll the last one to see if he finally loses you. Remember to add those 2 advantage dice.
All right, here we go.
Yep.
1, 2, 3 again.
I only got 1 success.
Oh, finally.
Yes. He turns in a frantic state, and he turns into a dead alley. And turns on you, draws a dagger, and he undoes his hood, and he has this tattoo on his face of a gray skull that is a half skull that comes right down to his, it's like a skull over his face, but it's a straight up facial tattoo. He is committed to this premise. And he turns and says, "Bring it on."
I stop for a moment. I'm still breathing heavily. And I take the sword in both hands. Who are you?
I'm the wizard who's going to cut your throat. And then I'm going to bind your ghost to this dagger, and you will serve me always.
We shall see. And then Locien, I will take several steps forward and then bring the sword high.
So are you looking to kill this guy?
Yeah, I'm looking to kill this man.
Okay.
We can question his body later.
Yep.
If he hadn't thrown in the bind my spirit to his dagger,
Right.
perhaps I would have a different opinion.
Right. Yeah, that's a bad touch. Cool. So let's start right there. Next game, we're gonna do a bloody versus test, and we'll divvy up we'll figure out what advantage dice you have, if he has any advantage dice, and we'll roll it and see who wins this fight. And yeah, it might not be decided all in one roll, obviously, but it's gonna be bloody. It's gonna be nasty. Sounds good?
That sounds awesome.
Awesome.
Hi, this is Jason from The Gauntlet. If you enjoyed this episode of Comic Strip AP, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. We have many other Comic Strip AP shows available, each organized in their own sequential playlist for easy listening. Just go to youtube.com and search for Gauntlet RPG.